you enjoyed your work week, and for those of you who went to school, it was a great school week as well. Well, as usual on Diction Avenue, we're going to be talking English. English is made, it's Salvador, and I will send it to you, or I would send it to you. We're talking about the future. So you should say, I will, talking about the past tense. But if you're looking at the future, then you should say, I would send it to you. We'll take on another question now, and this has to do with pronunciation, like the first. So you should say, I will send the future, then you should say, I would send it to you. I will send it to you, and not I would. All right, we'll take it on display. The person who wrote in for this question wants to go to walk. I'm walking down the road. Some might even go as far as saying wall. The word you have there is work. Walk, walk, work, walk. A way of differentiating. The first word there, work, is vowel number 11, I know that's a sound that's a little different. I wanted to say African, but not a sound in our native languages. There's no Nigerian native language that has that sound. We pronounced with a sound which is close to it. Some would go or, some would go eh. For instance, someone wants to say the word girl and says girl. I know that Ghanaians actually say wek for that word. A good way to produce the sound would be to start from vowel number 2, a little bit. Plural. Try as much as possible to also learn the exceptions to the rules. SH, CH, and X. You can see branch, which ends with the consonant CH. When you're forming the plural, H, the plural is formed by adding ES, and you have bushes. We also have the word bus. The plural is formed by adding ES, which gives you buses. Of course, there's an alternative spelling. And when you want to form the plural, you add ES. So you have boxes. All right? That's one of the exceptions to the rule. We're looking at another exception. Words that end with ES at the end of the word. And so you have the words on display. We'll get it a little closer there. The first word there is mango, and the plural there with the ES, mangoes. 0, adding ES at the end of each of the words. Of course, if you take note, there are also certain words that end with the letter O. You just add an S at the end. Dominoes. You also have disco with an S, gives you discos, and a few other words like that, which just takes the letter S without the E. We're looking at F. Now this is what happens when a word ends F. The F is converted to the letter V in the plural. So you have knife, knives. You have thief, thieves. But then, not S. I'm sure if you take a little time, you'd discover why this is the case. What rules? Usually it goes back to the ethnic, which language it comes from, and how it developed and came into the English language. When you look at the question that was actually asked, In the case of words that end with the letter Y, when you're forming the plural of words that end with the letter Y, usually the Y becomes I. Okay? You would note that before the Y here, what you have is a consonant. And it's because of this consonant before the Y, that is why the Y becomes I. That's an interesting one. It's because of the consonant before the Y, that is, it's a vowel before the Y, and then we just add S at the end. Of course, there are other plural forms that change in form completely that the plural forms of those words are not formed by adding either S or ES or anything that has to do with the letter S completely. It's all these rules. How do you determine how to form the plural of a word? Simple. Study. Study how plural forms are formed, and you hearten to the supposed madness of how plural forms are formed in English. Message only.
Let me take you somewhere, and there's something new. Why English official language that everyone needs to learn. Set the right pronunciation and use the right intonation. So express yourself. It's Diction Avenue.
To build tomorrow's future, speak with good English is our culture. We got qualified teachers, good facilities to build confidence in our students. Don't be told, come witness it, treasure you can't measure. Welcome to the world.
And there's something new.
Welcome back. The program is called Diction Avenue this Saturday right here on Galaxy Television, the station that reaches for the stars. And what we're doing here is that we're helping you improve your. Remember that you can be part of the show too. All you have to do is send in an SMS, and the number to send your SMS to is on display. It is 0805-584-9525. Before you call in to ask me if it's okay to say O instead of 0, yes, it is okay. I've answered that question already, so no need to ask. It is perfectly all right in the English language to say 080 instead of 080. 584-9525 if you want to be part of the question. If you want to be part of the program, send in your questions and we will consider them on the avenue. We move right on, and this question comes in which says transcribe the word. And the word, it's a long sound, it's also a diphthong. So A there, the OUS all becomes the schwa. So instead of you to say famous, you actually say famous, miss. Following the entire OU and saying just M and S, M and S together, miss. So you go famous, famous, famous. So, all right, we move on to a vocabulary question this time, and the question comes in from Tunde Olaleye, Yanopaja, Lagos, and his question is it right to use the word, he said word, but I know you mean phrase, is it all right to use the phrase, how was your night? How was your night? Well, if you look at that phrase, in fact, you would mostly hear this phrase